Raiders.
Yeah, welcome in, Raider Nation. We're back. Show me your shield on a Tuesday night. Started a little bit late. Had a doctor's appointment to take care of with my mom that kind of got extended, so we pushed it back a few minutes. But we're here. That's all that matters, right? You're here to see us. So the draft is a couple days away. Anybody focused on who gets picked? Um, I'm not. I played a lot of mock drafts, but that's not what I'm watching. I'm watching what's happening behind the scenes. Teams are talking trades. We're even seeing a couple trades. People's draft boards are changing dramatically. Players are rising out of nowhere because the truth is, this draft isn't going to be decided when the Raiders are on the clock. Agree or disagree, Duncan?
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be decided by everything that happens before and after that pick. And if you're only looking at the pick, you're missing the bigger picture. So today we're breaking down what's actually happening and how it could set up perfectly for our Las Vegas Raiders. But before we get started,
Raider Nation! Stop scrolling. The silver and black conversation starts right here. Hot takes, real fans, no filters. This is the show where Raider Nation speaks. So crank it up! And show me your shit!
now let's get this thing rocking, man. The draft is already moving, Duncan. So what say you, man? What you got on that?
Oh, I mean, getting real antsy. Can't wait for the draft. I mean, it's 2 days away now, and really, really interested to see who's calling the Raiders right now. Like, what are the Raiders trying to plan? What are they trying to figure out? How they want to move? I mean, Mendoza, I think, is the obvious pick, obviously, but past that, what are we going to do with the 36th pick?
Mm-hmm.
And what other teams are possibly looking at players that we may be in the range for that they want to get ahead of us for? Or somebody going to try to snipe a player from us? Like, there's all sorts of little different strategies that GMs want to pull, and like this is the GM's time to shine. This is where they earn their moolah.
Most definitely, man. This is what makes the good ones great, and the great ones legendary, by all means.
Definitely.
So if you think the draft starts on draft night, I think you guys are pretty much all behind. If you think it just starts on Thursday night, I would not be shocked to see a bunch of moves tomorrow. Might be low key moves, might be some big moves. Who knows? But based on what I'm seeing and what you guys have all seen out there, is that once you get to a certain point in the first round, it's almost like the talent from 15 to 50 is all toss up. It really is. And then you start to put yourself in, are you really going to be drafted for BPA, or are you going to actually attack it and draft as players that you need, to fill positions of need? So I ask you this, Duncan, do you think the board is already set, or do you think our board is wide open still?
Oh, it's ever changing. Because there's no telling the future on like what other teams value more. I mean, BPA is great and all, but there comes a point where that best player matches a position of need, and then teams want to jump up and snipe that. They want to get that player. Like, that's the player they want.
No. So I'll throw a little sauce on the fire for you. Media hype versus reality disconnect. Do you think a lot of people's draft boards are set by media hype, or is there really a disconnect with teams from the media?
I would say there's a little bit of a disconnect, but it's not fully because like the insiders are going to get a little bit of information from GMs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, Vinny Bonsignor is friends with I think 2 or 3 GMs that he texts with on the regular just to get their ideas on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like insiders and the media, they have a faint idea, but it's not something that they can stamp, sign, seal, and approve. Like, oh, this is guaranteed the pick for this team. So we're never going to truly know what the teams are valuing unless you actually study like each GM and each coach and the power that the GM and the coach have in their balance, which was like last year I was able to predict Porter and Thornton to be our picks because of what Pete Carroll valued so highly. Like
Right.
those 2 were easily Pete Carroll picks.
Yeah. And more's coming out about the Thornton was because they didn't really make an attack to go to get DK Metcalf, and he felt that Thornton was going to be that DK Metcalf type of player, which didn't really pan out that way, obviously, at least not in the first year.
Yeah.
You know, we got to wait and see. There might be growth coming back this year in his game. I don't expect it to be that much more because there wasn't a whole lot in Oregon. There wasn't a whole lot in Tennessee to make me think that what he showed us last year in his first year in the NFL is going to be that much different. It almost feels like he's a one-trick pony. Let's face it. He's a one-trick pony.
He's a burner. He doesn't cut back really well. And he's not a jump ball player. For somebody as big as he is, he does not get vertical.
And he's not aggressive. He doesn't attack the ball like he should. But hey, before we keep going on, we got some guys in here that are shouting out, saluting all of our buddies out there in chat land. Robert Pena, salute, brother. May's coming up. He's going to be there in Bakersfield, hoofing it up with the rest of the guys down there in Bakersfield. I'm not bueno. What's up, my friend?
What's up?
And then we're going to drag in some Michael Guerrero. Everybody needs a little Mikey Guerrero every now and then in their life. So we're salute to all you guys that are out there. If there's more of you, which I see, hit those thumbs, man. Tap in, give us a chat. Also, hit those like buttons, subscribe, tell your friends. We seem to be pretty cool guys. I don't know.
We're just chill talking football.
And some people like us. And even the guys that get pissed off of us still like us. And I don't have a problem with them either. None of them. So Alex is coming in. Welcome, brother. Welcome. So we're on the topic of the draft is already moving, correct? And there's already been like the Dexter Lawrence trade. What is your feeling? How do you think that Dexter Lawrence trade affects us at number 36?
At 36, was the Giants pick right before us, right, in the second round?
Yes.
So it's possible the Giants are now looking at a player that we may have had our eyes on. So that McDonald or the Georgia D lineman, as it Christian Miller. Yeah. So those 2 guys, I wouldn't count on either one of those guys being there for us. They could also go a different position. I mean, the safeties are really good in this class, and every team can always use another good safety. So
yeah, especially if one falls to you at the board, it's kind of hard to, especially in the position that we're in on the backside of our secondary. It's kind of hard to pass up a really good safety, especially in that position, because if you look at a lot of the top safeties here recently, that's usually where they're picked, you know, with Hamilton and what's his name from Seattle that was outstanding his rookie year.
Yeah.
You know, that's just right about where you want to be.
Yeah.
So for a pick like that, because I know the safety gets a little devalued when it comes to the top of the draft. It's hard for me to shake my head on that, because if you have a safety that is just that good, they could be just as valuable as a lockdown corner.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think the league's starting to realize more safety position where the value comes from is the flexibility of the player. Are they a true free safety? Okay, they're gonna shift down the board a little bit. Are they a true
mhm,
strong safety? They're gonna go down the board a little bit. Are
mhm.
they a guy in college that was able to go step up into the slot, go play free safety, go play
Right,
strong safety, go play man against the tight end, go play zone over top of another corner? Like the flexibility of the player coming out into the draft, that's where that value's coming in.
right.
And I think the league's really starting to notice that. So I think there's going to be a shift in how the safety position's viewed. And it's not going to be viewed anymore as like a strong safety, free safety. It's going to be viewed as just safety. But
Yeah.
what can they do at that
Versatility,
role?
though.
Yeah.
Versatility at the safety position. Because I'm
Yeah.
hearing a lot of that, and I'm seeing a lot of that now as well, is when they're grading these safeties, can they play the strong? Can they get down in the box, but yet
Yeah.
still play that center field and roam and be that fierce center fielder that can take away part of the field. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To where when that quarterback drops back and he gets through his, let's face it, only quarterbacks only go through two progressions, right? When
Yeah.
they get to their second progression, does he shut them down? By rotating over uh, in the coverage. So a lot of factors go into it, and I understand that. It's kind of like with the tackles, you know.
Yeah.
The value of a tackle, a guy that could play right and left tackle and be spot on at both positions, super valuable at the top of the draft.
Yeah.
You
Or
know,
interior line being able to play both guard positions and
No.
center.
Yeah, and which I don't understand how I don't understand how a lot of centers, really good centers, fall back like that. And it's just like God, it's like probably one of the most important positions on the field is the center,
Yeah.
and so it just to me it just seems like I I mean I get it, but at the same time the old school in me is like if the guy's good, the guy's good. You know, no matter what the no matter what the value of the position is at that point in the draft. If you feel that guy can make a difference on your team, just take him. Who
Yeah.
cares? You know what I mean? It's like, all right, give me a C or a D in grade in my draft. I don't care. The guy's gonna perform,
Yeah.
and
It's
you
like
can.
sorry. I
No, you're good.
but, uh, it's like our, friend Darkside OB always says is he just wants good football players.
Right,
Like, ultimately, get the great football players.
right.
Like, if you're gonna find a spot for a guy who plays football really well and has that football knowledge, you're gonna find a position for him to succeed.
Yep. No. Yep. Another one coming in, Marcus Banks. Salute, my brother. Thanks for coming in, Alex. Thanks for coming in, dude. Salute to you guys. Much obliged.
Yeah,
Just
salute,
here
Alex.
chopping it up with us. If you guys got any questions, shoot them in the chat. Kind of focus on what our topics are going to be. Read the banner. Let us know. Got a little poll question here for you. Let's do this real quick. Down on the bottom here, you'll see there's a poll. This is new, something we're starting. I think this is the first time me and you are using it on our show.
Yeah.
Where would you go with the 36 pick? Type 1 if you trade back into first. Type 2, trade back into the second. Type 3, stick and pick. Just type the number. If you type anything else after the number, it will not register your vote. So just type the number, and then if you have something, if you want to comment on your vote, then do another chat. And that'll get that, and that way your vote will register.
Yeah.
All righty. So Bush Raiders coming in as well.
Salute.
Just
And salute Marcus Banks. Guy's
Yep.
always showing up to like
Yep.
our group of content creators, showing respect.
Yep.
Guy's a class act.
Yeah, and he's a Tennessee Titans fan, but he's always fair and balanced with us. And like I said, if you ever showed up at the Black Hole with us one day and we happened to be there, drinks on me, my friend. Beers on me. $20 beer.
Bush Raiders saying stick at 36 and get McDonald. I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing him be at 36 personally.
Yeah, I kind of think I don't think he's gonna get past 32. To be quite honest with you, I don't think he's coming out of the first round
Yeah.
or going into the second round. He's gonna get picked up in the first round. The Christian Miller one is the one I think might slide, and no fault of his own. It's just going to be how people are going to be targeting this draft, and it's going to be really, in all honesty, it's going to be position specific as to how people draft.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't see a whole lot of people going BPA because their clusters are going to be so equal that when they look at their cluster of players at the position that they're picking, they're like, all three guys that we like are there. Now it's just a matter of we got 4 or 5 minutes to hammer this out that we've been going over and see where we go from there. And I'll be quite honest with you, there's going to be a lot of teams, including the Raiders, when it gets to pick 36, that they're going to be like, we weren't expecting this.
Yeah, that can quite possibly be the theme of this draft.
Yeah. So we remember the 2024 class draft, right? And how it went. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and then it went and then all of a sudden Atlanta at 8 takes Penix. And I was like, whoa. And traded up for him. And they took Penix, and it was like, oh crap. Nobody expected that because everybody had Penix and Bo Nix right there at 12, 13, 14, right in that area. And so, and I think Telesco at the time was like, we could just stay right here. We don't need to get stupid and give up draft capital to go get him because one of those two quarterbacks is going to fall to us. I already knew at the end of the season that Sean Payton had Bo Nix under his radar because it just seemed like when I watched Bo Nix play at Oregon, I go, he is a Sean Payton quarterback, period, and full stop.
Yeah.
And I was on somebody else's YouTube channel and I said, be quite honest with you, I think Sean Payton has his eyes on Bo Nix, and I think he's going to do all his homework and all his research and do all the communications with other teams to figure out if I need to move up and go get him, I'm going to go up and get him. But he soon realized through conversation and things and some of the teams that were ahead of him, they weren't going to be taking a quarterback that high. They were going to focus on other positions because they didn't have Bo Nix because a lot of people had Bo Nix in the second round.
Yeah. I definitely had a second round grade on Bo Nix, but it was also like you were saying, it's kind of obvious. Like that's Sean Payton's guy. Like,
yep.
Everything on how Bo Nix played football in Oregon, I was like, had
Sean Payton written all over it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, it had Sean Payton written all over
it. Bush Rader was also saying he could see receiver at 36. And I wanted to show this comment just because I also wanted to say that for the Raiders, and then like us Raider fans, obviously we're going to follow along. But really, pretty much from like pick 20 through 28 is really going to dictate on how the Raiders act or react. Because if there very well could be a run on receivers there, where the guys that we were thinking might be available at 36, all of a sudden the 4 receivers we're looking at are all taken. Do we all of a sudden pick up the phone, try to trade up and take one of them? Or now all of a sudden the D tackles are falling because of it? Or a linebacker like CJ Allen from Georgia, all of a sudden he falls. Like linebacker may not be the biggest need in some people's mind for our team, but when somebody like CJ Allen's there, does that make you question it? Do you all of a sudden look at that pick?
And look who graced us with their presence. The skipper himself. In here snooping again.
He's just showing support.
Yeah, showing support. Yeah, I'm probably going to have a write-up and an email. See the president after the show type thing. But that's all right. I get in trouble with him all the time. Let's I got one here for you. The pick that breaks everything. So the question is, one team is about to panic and everyone else is going to feel it when they either move up or trade back. That's going to have such a domino effect. Where do you think that falls in the first round?
I think between like 20. What pick are the 49ers? I think it's going to be like a trade that's right before the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think I believe that's like around 22 through 25 because if I remember correctly, the Niners are 26 or 25 or 26.
Yeah, 25.
Oh, they're 27.
Okay. So it's going to be a little bit before, but I can really truly see somebody in the second round trying to get above them for certain. Where do you think? Where do you think San Francisco's going with their draft?
I think they want to go receiver. They
Mm-hmm.
desperately need that receiver help, and I think a KC Concepcion or a Boston, like those two guys are probably the top two on their big board when it comes to receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they could also go offensive line, but I think they're more going towards receiver. I think a team that's desperate for a receiver is going to end up jumping ahead of them to take one of those guys because the other one is already taken off the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where the panic drafting possible trades might get going crazy start.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all going to be a late first round, early second round bonanza, which could work out perfectly for us sitting at 36 if we decide to sit.
Yeah. So Lynch and Shanahan are pretty well known to throw a bunch of draft capital and move up to get somebody they specifically want. Right. The Trey Lance thing. That even to this day, I was like, it just shakes my head that they wanted him so bad that they were willing to do that. So do you think maybe that they go from 27, maybe try to shoot up to like 16 or 18 somewhere in there?
Like if Mekhi Lemon ends up being right there.
Yep.
I think that's possible.
Okay.
That could also start the receivers going off the board rapidly.
Yep. Which brings us to our point. Right.
Yeah.
There's a couple of receivers there that I think John Spytek might be willing to pull the trigger, pull some change out of his pocket, and move back up into the first round. And I'm thinking that he's probably going to have Chicago on speed dial, just for that reason.
Yeah.
So it's just a hunch that I have. It just seems that's a sweet spot right there, 25. If you're top 5, top 7 in the second round, getting back up to 25 doesn't really cost you a whole lot. So you're going to flip your second round to get up to the first, plus you're going to give a third and maybe a fourth or a couple of fourths to get back up there. Now, mind you, I don't see anybody using 2027 draft capital in trade ups unless it's an absolute, like something that they, you want to get up in the top 4, right? Then you're going to have to give up. You might have to give up some 2027 draft capital. I myself, when the season was over, it didn't make sense to me that the Jets would give up all those quality of players to pick up that kind of draft capital just to package it all together to go get one person in one spot.
Right.
To me, it just didn't make sense. It just like you in essence traded 2 really good players to try and get one unknown.
Yeah.
So it did, to me, that just didn't make sense. So, in my line of view, I myself would probably want to trade back in a second. And this is my thought. And it's no more than 5 positions. Don't do like last year where we went from 37 back to 58. No, don't do that. But there's some really sweetheart stuff if we go from 36 to 41, 42. It still keeps our cluster is still there and live, right? And what we're looking at, what we're targeting is still going to be there and live. And moving back to 41, 42, just kind of in that 40, 41, 42 in that area, moving back, picking up. We could probably get a late third round pick out of that, or another early fourth round pick somewhere up in the 100s. And then what's that give us? At 100, 102, 117, 134. There's 4 picks right there that if you got another guy in the second round that you think is worth it, go for it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, as much as we want, as much as, and a lot of people think quantity of picks is the best thing, but when you start to harness a bunch of fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks as your predominant, like that's a lot of draft capital. Well, use those. Those are $5 and $10 bills. Put those together and go get you $100 bill.
Yeah, they're bullets in the chamber to jump up and take your shot at a earlier
Yeah.
pick. With all these extra picks, like that's ammunition you can use.
I mean, let's face it. If all right, we'll give you 117 and 2 of our 6th-round picks to let us come back up into the early third round or late second round.
Yeah,
You know, because there's a lot of teams in this league right now that are going to be in this draft that are going to be in a position to where they're going to need bodies. They don't necessarily have to improve certain positions. They just need to start adding depth.
yeah,
We're still improving positions and trying to add depth, which is super difficult to do. So, I mean, our UDFA club is going to be for depth. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's probably where we're going to be to add that depth to try and get that third guy on the defense. But we already have depth at defense and offensive line, really, in honesty. So, and from what I understand, like with Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers and Burford, those guys are really in the scope and the eye of Rick Dennison as to being, it's like, no, we don't have to move off of these guys. There's more to it, because what happened last year was a shit show.
yeah,
And that was 100% coaching.
yeah. I will say, with the 36th pick, I agree with trading back a little bit, but we can't do like last year where we go too far and we just miss out on a prime pick, and then we go back again because we missed that 1 or 2 picks, that players we wanted, and then right before us another very good player that you and I both really liked, and they get picked right before us.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I actually would prefer to trade back from 36, but marginally, like keep it within 6 picks and do not trade back again.
Yeah.
And like you're preaching, use the later round draft picks as ammunition to trade back up.
Yeah.
Like,
bundle them up.
let's go get those quality players.
Yeah, I think we can improve the team with 5 picks just as good as we could with 10 picks and 6 of them being past the 4th round.
Yeah. Well, heck,
so
even if we use the 5th round pick and some 6th round picks, and maybe we get another later round pick, even if it's just to get into the 4th round, there's a lot of quality players in the 4th round. Even third round would be preferred, or even at 2nd round, depending on what the price is. But go get up and get those quality players.
Yeah,
we need starters. And yeah, people can say that we need the big flashy names and star players, but ultimately we need starters right now across the board on both sides of the ball. And we get quality starters through this draft. If we can get 4 of them, we have a brand new team. Like, we're already excited about what our team's looking like from free agency. Imagine we get 4 starters from this draft. Like that's just huge.
And we got 4 legitimate free agents, and you know what I mean, that are 3 of them are, and I don't think there's going to be anybody argue with me on this, that Nakobe Dean, Walker, Linderbaum, just those 3 people right there made a huge difference in our team. Now, if you went to the suck meter of how bad we were last year, how much better does it make us? Is to be seen, right? I mean, we don't know for sure, but just what we see, and you can call it on paper, and you don't win games on paper, and you don't win games in March and April and May. I get that, but everybody knows just by doing that made a substantial difference on our roster. Now, some of these other guys, especially like with Linderbaum, how much is Linderbaum going to elevate Caleb Rogers or Burford, depending on who that right or that left guard is or right guard, however they position him and JPJ? Who's to say how much is he going to elevate JPJ?
Yeah.
Right. And how much is he going to elevate Glaze and Grant and even Miller to a certain example? To a certain extent. How much could he also, the way he is and the way he plays, could he elevate those guys, the entire room? And then you throw in there Rick Dennison, and nobody's going to argue with me that he is absolutely the top 2-3 offensive line coaches in the NFL today. Right.
Yeah.
But his wick is running low on the candle, and we know that. So we need to get the best we can out of Rick Dennison right now.
Yeah, we need Dennison to set that tone for our O-line and let them know what the business is. And Dennison was the best free agent signing we had, hands down. Just getting somebody with his experience, knowledge, talent at coaching the offensive line. Like, he's been through everything that there is when it comes to the outside zone run scheme.
Seen it, done it, heard it.
Yeah.
And he comes straight from the Bible of the wide zone concepts. You know, when you look at the author of that scheme, run game, he's right there hand in hand with the birth of it. So
yeah, he's a co-signer.
Yep. He's a co-signer of it. So it's just one of those deals where I think you said it right, is probably one of the most important signings we had in the offseason was getting him, especially compared to what we had last year. Right.
I mean,
we had a guy.
Me saying that's just mimicking you, because like you've been preaching it since it's happened, because you're right. The guy is absolutely huge for us. We went from having nobody coaching offensive line last year to one of the most experienced, knowledgeable, and best people to do it.
Yeah.
So that's just such a huge upgrade. And you've been pounding the table on that, and I'm putting the pin in it. You were right on that. And hopefully time proves that you're correct on that.
Yeah.
But real quick, Michael Guerrero came in with the question: do you guys think we need a safety?
It's priority 2 on the scale, I think. And if you want to go ahead and shut my poll down and throw your poll up there, that'll take us right into that topic.
Okay, so
I'll stop ours.
Start and show.
There you go.
Yep. So this is my poll for the show. It says, what position group should the Raiders double dip in the draft for? So, for example, should we get 2 receivers throughout the draft? Now, it doesn't mean we need to go second round, third round, that same position group, but maybe we go second round and third round, or second round, fifth round. Maybe we go a 4th round and a 5th round on a position group. What position group should we be looking at to get multiple players in? Now, me personally, I think the double dip we need to take is the DBs, because I think we definitely need at least 1 corner and at least 1 safety.
Yeah.
But I will also say we may end up drafting 2 safeties this draft, just from listening to what Spytek and Kubiak are both talking about. Like, they both for sure do not like how thin our safety room is. We only have 3 safeties on the roster. Technically, they're all strong safeties. Chen is a more mobile safety. He can play different positions. He can go up into the slot. He can be an off-ball linebacker. He's kind of our gadget guy. Polamalu is really a true strong safety, and that's pretty much it. And he played free safety last year. And
he looked lost out there.
Coverage was a mess. I will say it's not entirely his fault, because he did have Caillou Blue Kelly over there too, and a lot of times it seemed like he's trying to communicate to Kelly to stay on his guy, and he goes, and Polamalu ends up going and taking a step after he makes his direction, and Kelly doesn't listen or didn't hear or whatever, and then all of a sudden Kelly's guy's wide open because miscommunication, or they weren't practiced well enough.
Or he was, or on the flip side, there was a couple times where I don't think Polamalu was expecting the handoff. where Kai Blue was going to hand that go route to him over the top and didn't anticipate it and didn't see it, and bad on his part too, not keeping an eye on your cornerback to see, because when you're a safety like that, especially on a too high safety, you're playing too high like that. It's like you really have to pay attention to your cornerback and see if he's going to lose a step. You got to kind of close that gap a little bit. But I'm going to with the poll. I'm going to go this route, and I'm going for, and the reason being is because of the volume. And I know offensive line, build the trenches. We're in that mode to build the trenches. Um, but the trench run is going to be coming, right? A lot of teams are going to be picking the best of the best as soon as they can. And so it's going to kind of leave us in limbo as far as not so much scraps, but it's just going to take away our ideal offensive lineman at the position that we're going to be at. So, but by sheer volume of our roster, the secondary in and of itself, the defensive backs in and of itself, were very thin at that point, at that position. So it behooves Mr. Spytek to probably concentrate and make sure that, get a safety, but try and get a versatile one. I know at the top of the draft, around 36 to 41, there's going to be some really good, that kid from Toledo might be falling there.
Yep.
So
USC has a really good safety also.
A kid from USC, I know he's more slotted right around 67. So if maybe take a run at a cornerback, if there's a really lights out cornerback at 36, then it holds us at 67. And if you think we got to come up from 67 to get that safety that we want, use some of that back end draft capital. Go get the guy.
Yeah.
Now's the time. The cards have been dealt. The chips are on the table. If you want to play, sometimes you got to put a few more chips in to win the hand.
Yeah. And while we're talking about safeties, there is a day 3 name I want to drop for everyone to pay attention to, and that's VJ Payne. And if I remember correctly, he's
TCU.
From is it TCU?
Kansas State.
No, Kansas State. Yeah.
Yeah.
TCU is Bud Clark. He's another really good one.
He's another one.
He's going to be a day 2 guy.
No.
But day 3, watch out for VJ Payne, especially if we haven't drafted a safety yet.
No. Which I think would still be an upgrade to Polamalu.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Polamalu on. I think, to me, it seemed like he was more aggressive and played better when he had to chase the rabbit. You see what I'm saying? Where he had to perform.
Yeah.
Versus now, he was like, "Oh, you're the starter. You're going to be our starting free safety." And it's like, okay, not. I just think some guys get a little bit more hungry when they know that, hey, I'm not going to start. I need to outperform that guy that's starting.
Yeah. So
I can get out on the field. I think he was a little bit better at that. So far we're looking pretty good on the stats here. So we were talking, the trench run is coming, right? And like I was saying earlier, is that there's going to be a big run on offensive linemen anywhere from 9 and 10 on back to 36 before the pick gets to us. So the where does the quality drop off at? You know what I mean?
I think after the first 3 tackles, it drops off.
Yeah.
Well, my first 3 tackles, because right now people have the tackle from Alabama slated as like the number 3 or 4 overall tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he is the drop off.
Okay. After
no, I think it starts with him.
Starts with him. Okay.
Yeah. So personally, the 2 absolute stud right tackles on Fano and Mauigoa, they're stout. They're going to
Yeah.
be very good.
They're
in
plug and play, ready to go.
Yeah, they both have excellent feet. They both have good power. Maui Go is a lot more stronger, but
Mhm.
Bono is very, very athletic and quick.
Mhm.
And then for the left tackle, Freeling from Georgia, he's very
Mhm.
good, and he is stupid strong.
Mhm.
Like, he's a guy that you do not want to tangle with in a bar fight. Like,
Yeah.
he's got punching power. He knows how to
Mhm.
use his hands. Uh,
So that's 4.
well, yeah. So the fourth one for me would be the Alabama tackle, just
Caden
because that's
Proctor.
Proctor.
Okay.
That's where he's ranking consensus wise. I
Mhm.
think he is the drop off when it comes to tackles. And then interior O line, there's really only one guy slated in the first round right now, and that's um uh the Penn State guy.
Ione.
Yeah, Ione.
I'm taking a crack at it. It's
Yeah,
IHONE or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. I think people are calling him Vega.
Vega. Yeah.
Yeah, Vega. He's probably, in my opinion, the best O lineman overall in this draft. Like,
Mhm.
he's so solid. He's very strong, got great size, great footwork, and he's mean. Like,
And
he
he's
gets
got a
after
lot of
people.
games under his belt too.
Yeah, he gets after people.
Yeah.
He is a big reason why Penn State could run the football.
No. What about
Uh,
H&R from Arizona State? You're
I
losing
think he is a very talented player, and he's very raw still because
more of a project. Yeah, he's new to football.
he doesn't have a lot of game experience,
No.
but he is very, very, very talented and very strong, great feet. And normally, I don't like the example of basketball players in football because I think, in my mind, basketball players kind of have sloppy footwork. They got big feet, long legs, and they don't know how to use them. He knows
Mm,
how to use them. He can shuffle.
you'd be amazed at how much basketball helps you in the football game.
But yeah, anyways, he's a very good player. Uh, and he did really, really well in the Senior Bowl at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the other right tackle that I'm kind of high on is Miller from Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
He's another very athletic guy at the tackle position and can play zone really well.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit, I don't want to say weaker because that makes him sound not very good for an offensive lineman, but compared to the other guys, he doesn't have that strength.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a very smart player. Like, he knows what to look for prior to the ball being snapped, where he knows what he needs to do. So he's not,
Angles.
yeah. So
Good
he
at,
gets to position quicker,
yeah.
which is huge.
Which is primarily what we're looking for with the wide zone.
Yeah.
Are you able to develop the proper angles and get to the point? Because it's not so much getting right into the guy's face, but getting to the point where you need to be to take care of it.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Money Chuck. Money Chuck's in here. I'm for trading up three to 7 spots from 36 to get Max H-Nor. I think we can address defensive tackle and safety later. I'm not sold on Glaze. Grant needs to be a backup. A repeated injured Miller. With Grant, I somewhat agree with you developing him, but if for some reason he can win the right tackle position in the preseason, win that position, he still would be considered. I think a swing tackle. If Miller goes down, you just automatically take him, put him on the left side, and then you plug your backup into the right side. As far as trading up 3 to 7 spots from 36 to get Max H&R, and like we were talking about, there's still a lot of development that he needs. It could be quick. It could take a while with him.
Yeah.
So I know he at the Senior Bowl he was very one of the things was he's very coachable, constantly stayed on top of things, on top of his assignments. Never really got beat. A couple times he dropped too fast and let the edge rusher get underneath them, but it wasn't. But he was able to recover because he does have quick feet, and his base is solid. So I think he would be one of those guys that if he had another year of eligibility left in him, going back another year and maybe hitting the portal and going somewhere where, going to a Penn State or um, uh, what's another good offensive line school?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, Boston College, Ohio State, somewhere like that to really work on on his skills as far
Yeah.
as angles and protections and reads. Because what's his, is he able to identify, a zone dog blitz? Like, okay, that corner's coming. Do I,
Yeah.
what do I do? Oh my God, I think he's coming. I'm not sure, but I think he's coming. And it's like, oh shit, here he comes.
But another thing I wanted to point out when it comes to drafting offensive line
Mhm.
is we drafted 4 day 2 offensive linemen in the past 2 drafts.
Yep.
So that's another thing we got to take in consideration is our front office and coaching staff willing to use another day 2 pick on an offensive lineman? I think
That's it.
if it's the right player compared to who else is there when we're picking, I think yes. The answer is always possibly, but I think yes, they're willing to. For me, Chase Basantis keeps sticking out, like just depending on who lands around 36. If Chase Basantis is there and the best D tackle is Lee from Texas Tech, and the edge rushers are the top edge rushers, like for the second stint of them is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Are we looking at offensive line? Say EMW's gone and more of the top cornerbacks are gone. So maybe like Indiana's corner Pons and Chris Johnson are there as well as Basantis. Like
Mm-hmm.
out of those guys, who are we taking?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're not going to invest another day 2 pick in the offensive line, but I think it's more unlikely that they do because they really don't know exactly what they have in this offensive line.
Yeah, we got that's just it. There's other than practice tape from last year, there's not a whole lot of game tape on the 2 guys that we took in the 3rd round last year.
Yeah.
And then Glaze the year before. I mean, we have good tape on Glaze from 2024. 2025 was just, and like Jeff and I and a bunch of us agreed, it's like his regression. Really, in all honesty, everybody on that offensive line regressed.
Yeah.
It wasn't
100%.
coached.
They were not coached at all.
They weren't coached
It's like,
at all.
here's the playbook, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure individual drills, those guys were frustrated with individual drills as well. That none of it seemed to correlate with what they were actually doing with the game plan when they were doing their individual drills and their team drills. And you could just tell the level in which they practiced. You can tell in the games that they weren't practicing the right way. So, and that has a lot to do with it. If anybody's ever been around football and played football and whatnot, and that, if you practice like shit, you're going to play like shit.
Yeah. And that's another thing with the offensive line is you're thinking a lot pre-snap and sometimes even during the snap, just depending on what's going on.
No.
And that can really slow down your footwork.
Yeah.
And the Raiders go against a lot of speed rushers in the AFC West, and the Broncos are loaded with them. And that's Glaze's biggest weakness. Well, on top of that, you're not being coached. So now you're thinking even more, what do I got to do? Your O-line is not communicating well and not picking up blocks properly. So now you're thinking, what's he going to do next to me? That's just making your feet, all of a sudden, that concrete's drying up on you.
Yeah. So real quick, we got Rosetown in the house. Thanks for coming in, Rosetown. I know we talked to Money Chuck, but shout out to you, my friend. Thanks for coming in. We drafted 2 wide receivers day 2 last year. Also, honestly, I'm less concerned with drafting a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd. Would rather go get an offensive tackle or defensive tackle or safety. Those 3 categories, absolutely. But I'm only going to flip. I'm going to take the offensive tackle and put it behind defensive tackle. I would prioritize defensive tackle first because number one, we're switching to the 3-4, so we're going to need that absolute zero, that guy that could play zero. Okay, so I don't think we have. I mean, Adam Butler's probably going to be the closest. Tonka Hemingway, I'm sure, can give us 10 reps at the zero technique. Butler, but I don't want to make that like a full on rotational where every other drive somebody's playing nose guard, right? So it's somebody that's going to be an absolute at nose guard. We need that Vince Wilfork, you know what I mean? That Sam Adams, you know,
Yeah.
that Bubba right there to eat up. You'll never see him on the stat sheet, you know. Silent but violent is what I like to call it.
Also, Thornton was a day 3 pick.
Who?
Thornton.
Yes, he was day 3
day
pick.
3 pick.
Yeah, Besh was day 2. Thornton was day 3.
Yeah,
and Thornton. Everything that I've heard this past week or so is all indications are that was an absolute Pete Carroll pick. Like,
yeah, but I also did hear Spytech is really praising Thornton because he's one of the guys that's been there every single day in the off season working out. Yeah. And he said he's really putting in the effort to try to get better and bigger.
Yeah. Which a lot of times happens with these guys when they come out of college because their first year as rookies, they spend so much time trying to prepare for combines and pro days and yada yada, and they're still doing stuff at a college level in their preparation, physically and mentally. And then they get that full, and some of them it's a blur. Their rookie year is just a blur. And then once that season's over with, within a couple of weeks, they can kind of take a deep breath, sit back, and go, okay. And then they can start to pick their resources. They're getting in contact with veterans because a lot of veterans throughout the league are more than willing to talk to the younger guys about, hey, this is what I saw, or that's what I saw. And even cornerbacks, it doesn't hurt for a rookie wide receiver going into the second year to reach out to, say, a Sauce Gardner or somebody like that and say, hey, what do you think I need to do to improve my game? And believe it or not, they share information, but not secrets.
Right.
So
they'll share where you need to get to, but they won't tell you how to get
there.
Yeah,
and then the rest of it's going to be on you to develop those little.
There's a blank mat with an X on it. Figure it out.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So.
And I wanted to stick on the receivers because I'm more in line with Money Chuck's thinking. I'm okay with not taking a receiver day 2. My thing is I'm not willing to trade up for a receiver unless, for whatever reason, Mekhi Lemon gets to the 20s. Pull that trigger. Go get that kid. Yeah. And at 36, the only receivers I'm willing to take are Boston and Cooper.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say, Boston would be hard to pass up at 36.
Yeah.
It'd be real hard to pass up on him.
But I'm really not willing to trade up for a receiver. And I'm more trying to think, let's save our first round pick next year for a receiver.
Yeah. Now, if they traded up to go get Freeland, I will jump through the roof, man. I would probably even, it'd be like win-win if they move up to get Freeland.
Got our left tackle of the future.
Mm-hmm. Start him at the right tackle, and then next year or the year after, move him to left tackle, just like the Chargers did with Joe Alt.
Well, Chargers did that out of necessity, right? They did that because of injuries.
No, they started him at right tackle, and I think a lot of it was getting out because it getting him more dialed into the NFL caliber of blocking on the right side versus left side.
Left tackle got hurt in the preseason.
Yeah, I know.
And that's why Alt moved to the left.
He moved to the left this year.
Yeah.
Or this past year.
Yeah.
His rookie year was on the right side.
Yeah, and he was practicing in the offseason at right tackle, and their left tackle got hurt. And then that's why he got moved.
That's why. See, I'm glad you mentioned that because just catching the beginning of the season, it looked like that was the strategy, was to play him 1 year on the right side and then move him to the left side.
Which, if that was the plan, it's still a smart plan because Alt hands down, very good. And I would not be surprised in a year or two if we're saying he's the best tackle in football.
Yep.
He is a monster, and it really pains me he's a Charger. Nutty Raider Nate came in. You want to give him a Raiders?
A Furpo salute?
You got to earn it.
No, because I'm sure James Purple will come in too.
Raiders.
Nutty Raider Nate, that was for you, brother. Shout out to you, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it, my guy. So we're going to go next topic is the trade that changes everything. And this is not just the Raiders. This is a trade that may be anticipated in the draft that could affect us. What do you see?
Well, the one that I was seeing, I think it was 2 days ago, was the Chiefs are looking to get up to number 3 or 4.
3.
The report I saw said they're in talks with the Cardinals and whoever holds the 4th pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who holds the 4th. I know the Jets are 2, Cardinals are 3, Browns are 5.
Titans would be 4.
Yeah, Titans. There you go. So,
why do you think they're making that trade?
I think they're trying to get a defensive end, personally.
Mm-hmm.
They also want to shore up that defensive line to make sure they have their next star defensive lineman once Chris Jones retires. But the other thing is they could go for Carnell Tate.
Mm-hmm.
Get another stud receiver to go catch passes for Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they did end up getting Walker in free agency, so they don't necessarily need a top-end running back. So it's kind of a waste to pick Love. Mm-hmm. So I think it definitely would be looking at defensive end or receiver right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
what about the chart? Now, what about the Cowboys? Cowboys got 2 picks as well in the first round, 12 and 20.
I could see them trading up, but I think they're fine picking where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, they do a great job usually drafting in the first 2 rounds. And it seems like they have a lot more success when they just stick and pick. When they go hunting and reaching for players is usually when they end up messing up.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Jeff here. In the 2027 draft, he is requesting we trade out of the number 1 and let's go.
And the 28 and the 29. Yeah. Alex said Chiefs want to see if they can get Reese, I heard. I could also see them going after Bailey. I have a feeling that the Jets don't take Bailey. I know the report was saying that the Jets were saying they already know everything they need to know about Bailey. That's why they didn't have him fly over for their visit.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a negative connotation just off of gut feeling, but I could very well be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It could be they contacted Bailey like, hey, look, we're picking you. Sign, seal, deliver. Like, we're not going to have you waste your time coming over here. Go enjoy yourself, have fun, get ready for the season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could be that.
Mm-hmm.
But Alec M also said lots of drama with the top half of the first round could happen, trades and such. Yep. And that's why we're talking about it. Is what's going to happen.
The more we talk about it, when we get to the draft, and we just see it go, nothing.
Nobody trades.
Yeah, it's like watching the a trailer to a movie, and then you go watch the movie, and it's like, wow, the trailer was the best part in the movie, you know. So I mean, there's a possibility there.
Justin, first 2 round picks for Max. Let's do it. I'd take 2 first rounders for Max if that's what we're set at.
Yep.
I mean, if they offered it, I mean, the Raiders already showed once before they're willing to take 2 first rounders for him.
which I think would be more valuable than what Baltimore gave us, because Baltimore gave us 14 in next year's pick, right?
Yeah, but I think
Initially,
next year's pick is more valuable than any of those other picks.
depending on
I
where they end up. See, if they make a playoff run and end up 25, 26,
they're
12 and 20
finished.
this year, hold on, 12 and 20 this year is better because now that 20th pick, we can use it to move around.
Yeah, but I also think the Ravens are going to finish with a top 12 pick next year.
Yeah, I do too.
And
I think that they're going to crumble.
Top 12 pick in next year's draft is so much more valuable than the 14 this year. Yeah, no, definitely. There's a ton of teams with 2 first-rounders this year.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is we could have been another team to add to that list. Like, that's ridiculous how many teams with 2 first-rounders this year there are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you think the Raiders' best pick in this draft might actually come from someone else's move?
Yeah. Yes, I do. That 36, like, it all depends on how it plays out. Because if it happens like late enough in the first round, like within the early 20s,
mm-hmm.
where it starts a frenzy of position picks,
mm-hmm.
some very talented players that should have gone in the mid to late 20s could very well end up in our lap at 36.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be what the best draft strategy for us has been for the past 2 years, is like we just sit and the best player ends up in our lap, like with Bowers and arguably Genty. I know a lot of people didn't want Genty for different reasons, but it was never because of the talent of Genty himself. It was because of the position,
the value of the pick.
Yeah. And where our team's at.
And I felt the same way. I felt that we could have probably done better with an offensive lineman, but had we drafted an offensive lineman last year, it would have still been the same shit show as to we drafted this guy number 1 and he's crap. Well, it's not because he's crap. It's because the coaching was crap. Because everybody on the offensive line sucked last year, right?
Yeah.
So
just to lay this to bed real quick, no, we're not saying Mendoza is not the Raiders. It won't be the Raiders' best pick. Mendoza's the Raiders' best pick, period. We're saying value. Mendoza's going to go 1. We all know he's going to go 1. He's valued at 1. So you get value.
And that's not just us. That's not just the media that's doing that.
But where you get value is by getting a player that's valued at a higher pick and you're picking them later. That's how value works.
No.
So
now, if
Mendoza's the best pick for the team, period,
in this draft, and I'm not going to argue that in this draft, if it was a different kind of draft, maybe he would be the 5th or 6th or 8th pick. But in this draft, and you guys have all been doing your mocks, there's no Calvin Johnson in this draft to make us think otherwise. There isn't. If there was a Calvin Johnson in this draft, I would say, okay, it would be kind of stupid to go with a guy that, has tons of upside. Great quarterback, had a great year. I think could probably do really good. How good? Nobody knows. As much as, we want to defer from other people's opinions, if you formulate your own opinion, and this is my opinion, I don't know about you, but it is what it is where we're picking, and we're just there. I mean, it is what it is. And now if we do trade back and get, let's say Spytech and company says, you know what, we love the guy, we want the guy, but I agreed. The offer to move up to number 1 is just too sweet to pass up. I'm not going to argue that either.
Yeah. Bare minimum, we got to get 2 first-round picks for next year's draft. And there's only 2 teams that can achieve that for us. So I don't see it happening for us to trade back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to offer what that number 1 pick is actually worth. I mean, I hate to say it, I don't think the number 1 pick is as valuable as it was in previous drafts this year. Where somebody's going to really come at you hard with a bunch of draft capital to get that guy, you know. But anyways, when he asked him that question, your answer should have been no. Mendoza is the best pick, not something we get later. LOL, which you said.
He's talked about value. Value was in the question, but
The value.
we can hear whatever we want to hear. It's not going to change what Jeff hears. He just wants to hear the story he wants.
The value in this draft. I'll be quite honest with you. Where is he at in total value? I'm pretty sure if you took all 32 teams draft boards and collaborated all 32 of them into and put them together, he's still going to be in that top 3 this year in the draft. And being that he's a quarterback, he gets bonus points, right? So that's going to elevate him even more into that. A lot of experts, way more than what we can as fans on the YouTube side, a lot of experts are saying it's an absolute. The Raiders would be stupid to pass on him at this point.
All but one.
Well, Orlovsky, I mean, you got to give Orlovsky credit. You know,
he's sticking to his guns. He's sticking with his pick, and I'll give him respect for that.
It's and it's not the evaluation that I'm upset at. It's the comments that follow that aren't supported. You know, that's where I have a beef with it with Orlovsky, is when he starts to make comments like, "Who did he play?
What games?
Where were you?" You know. But I promised this show I was not going to talk about that. We were going to talk about everything else that's pertained to the draft. And for those of you guys that are in here that are just showing up, we have a poll that is running. What position group should the Raiders double dip in the draft for if we were to double dip? And of course, number 1 is wide receiver. Number 2 is offensive line. Number 3 is defensive line. Number 4 is defensive back. Type the number. Don't add a comment. If you do have a comment, type the number, hit send, and then put a comment right there after with the hashtag. Otherwise, your vote will not register.
Yeah. And getting back to the chat real quick. Salute Jack Kenna.
What's up, Jack?
Stopping by. Alec had another comment saying, I don't see a team going too hard for a top 5 pick this year, like 3 first-rounders and change. Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot of people that are going to want to move back in the first round. They're already setting things up, and it's just the total draft in and of itself, the quality of the draft in and itself from top to bottom is very milky. You know, there's nothing clear, you know.
And it's the quality of players that are in the top, are considered in the top 15. Like, there is no like true standout. Like, this draft, rightfully so, has been labeled a draft full of starters, but not stars. Because there's a lot, it's very deep in quality starters, and there's no true star talent in it.
Yeah.
And that's where the trading up to get that player, that's not going to happen, which is why I'm agreeing with Alec right here. 805 stopping by. What's up, 805?
Salute, 805. Thanks for coming in, brother. Oh, by the way, great show the other night, dude. Loved it.
Yeah,
loved it. It was your film breakdown is awesome. And for those of you that don't give you the credit for what you do and the effort that you put into it to do that, it mind boggles me. But as much as I can agree with a lot of the things that you showed, there's a lot of things that even go into it for me personally and how I evaluate them that you're not seeing that's not being showed consistently. Right. So it just, those are the things. And, you know, and I do agree with you. There's not a sample size with that kid. We don't have a big enough sample size, at least in the Indiana side. I know Cal, there's a little bit more that correlates with the NFL style, and not so much Indiana, but also at the same time, understanding that that wasn't his fault. It wasn't like they did that because he couldn't. They did that because that was their program. And that's how they want to. You got to understand, Signetti is coaching to win games and not coaching to develop NFL prospects.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the way he coaches, his intent is to elevate them as players. So when the time does come, they have it. They have something that they can hang their hat on.
Yeah. Jack
Um,
Cano San to double dip in free safety and running back.
Not running back. Say I could see doubling down on safety, but going back to your poll,
Yeah.
We include defensive back primarily because if you can chip a cornerback, an elite cornerback, or somebody that could be an elite cornerback, and then maybe getting that safety that is in the later rounds, that would be premium. And I know Spytech is specifically looking for a safety that is going to be versatile, somebody that could play free safety, center field, command center field, single high, or also be able to come down in the box and make tackles and make plays in the box as well. So they can basically, I know Jeremy Chin's strength is strong safety, but getting a guy that is fundamentally sound as a free safety, but could also fill in at that strong safety position, plus win-win. We hit it. So
Yeah.
And there's a couple guys that could do it. I think Bud Clark is going to be more of a strong safety. I think he's going to be a little bit not. I don't think he's going to be as fundamentally sound as a free safety as people think.
I think he'll be more sound than Palomar at free safety.
Wow. Yeah.
Plus, Bud Clark is a ball hawk. He has a natural nose for the ball.
Jeff can play free safety better than Palomar.
Palomar can run.
Dude, if you went up to Jeff and say, I'll give you 5 Dunkin' Donut coffees to keep them from scoring a touchdown over the top, he'll do it. He'll do a better job than Palomar. Guaranteed.
At least while he's on the field, because he might be committing some personal fouls to prevent him.
Well, and then when he comes off the field, he'll trip Mendoza or take his helmet and throw it in the stand so he can't play quarterback. Little things like that. But that's okay. There's workarounds with that.
Yeah. Also, my running comment wasn't a swipe at Jeff. It was because Palomar is a really athletic player.
I'll swipe at Jeff anytime.
Yeah.
He doesn't answer my calls anymore, so
but
I'll swipe at him.
805 saying, come on. Only 2 more days to talk about the trade back.
Yeah.
Maybe on your show you can save it. We don't want to take your win from your sales.
Yeah, don't want to upset the characters in the panel like I already done.
Mark Bates coming in. Yo, what up, guys? Finally made it on time. Salute. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, brother. Nice pick too, by the way.
Yeah. AOC the GOAT.
Look, AOC fresh out of the dentist chair.
Aiden O'Cannon.
Yeah, go ahead and run the chat for a minute.
All right. Mendoza will be the pick, like it or lump it. I mean, I'm gonna like it. I mean, he's the pick. Easy, hands down.
Yeah. And I am willing to take the lashings if he sucks.
Yeah. 805 saying appreciate it. I'm all about the feedback. I mean, it's always great talking to you because you come back with educated opinions, and it's always fun to talk with somebody who can back up what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And honestly, every time I listen to you, there's always at least one thing I'm learning. So I'm always appreciative of it, even though you can't get it across your head that we're sticking and picking at one.
it just upsets him. I know, and bless his heart, man. I know
he's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, he is, and all for it, and I appreciate it. And like I said, he backs his opinion with what he shows on tape.
Yeah, and we all know that he's going to sit there and support Mendoza once he is the pick. And he's going to do his usual where during the season, he's going to break down the game film, show what he did good on, show what he did improve on, and show what was like, what the hell
he did. I expect him to do the exact same thing he did with Genty. And he was in the same position with Genty last year. And I agreed with him last year. I didn't think picking Genty at number 6 was the right pick. I didn't, but we got him. You know what I mean? So I'm opposite of those guys that were pissed off when we took Brock Bowers, and I was the guy going, "Are you stupid? Has anybody watched this guy play?" And they're like, I'm getting yelled at, like, "We need a tackle. We need this." I go, "Yeah, but dude, he fell in our lap. You can't let this guy go, man."
Yeah.
And sure enough, after his rookie season, I was like, I heard a couple guys on their podcast go, "I still wish we would have got a tackle." It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Don't quit fooling yourself. You're trying to get yourself out of a corner, and it ain't working.
Yeah. Alex saying Bud Clark really good at getting the ball though. Yep, 100% agree.
Yep.
The guy,
Yeah, he is
knows
a ball
the
hawk. He's got a
Yeah.
good punch to him too. You ever
He's
see that? He has almost like Rodriguez from Texas Tech, where his timing on the punch is pretty legit.
yeah, and as long as I'm not getting him mixed up with another player, but I believe he has a really really good missed tackle rate. I think it's sub 5%,
Mm-hmm.
and for a safety that makes a lot of tackles, that is very good.
Nah. But I don't want my
Uh,
safety leaving the team in tackles. Ugh.
well, right, but you also want your safety to make the tackle when
Yeah.
it's asked of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Kenna saying Ramsey and Clark, look for it.
Yep.
We brought up Ramsey. He's one of
Mhm.
those safeties that we're valuing, or at least I'm valuing a little higher just because he can play multiple positions. He not as fluidly as the MW.
Mhm.
Ramsey did play a lot of slot this year because of injuries on USC, and he did struggle a little bit, but he still was easily one of the better players on that defense, and it showed.
Mhm.
And he is a leader, which I know Jason appreciates that a lot, having leaders on the football field.
Down the middle of the field, my friend. Down the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you go back to the Baltimore Ravens team. That team was built off of leadership down the middle of the field.
Yeah. Mark Bates, if there's no competition for Palomalo before the preseason, we did something horribly wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need at least to draft one safety.
I wholeheartedly think we are going to.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking no less than 67.
Yeah.
There's going to be a safety come our way.
And if we are going to double dip at safety specifically, then I'm looking at VJ Payne and day 3. Maybe the 5th round, I think, is a good spot for him.
No.
He played for Kansas State, for those that didn't know. Money Chuck saying, I'd like to double down on D tackle. I'd like to get a true nose tackle and a 275 to 300 pound 3-tech guy for our 3-4 defense.
Which would be a 5-tech and a 3-4. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. I think with Adam Butler and Hemingway and Pegues and Jonah, excuse me, with those 4 guys, I think we're set. And then we also have Tyree Wilson who's going to play at 5 or a shade, inside shade on the strong side. So I wouldn't really look for that type of defensive tackle. We're going to be looking more for the zero technique, that big bubble butt, 6'2", 340-pound guy that could just, get after it. Look for at pick 134, Chris McClellan from Missouri.
Yeah.
Just kind of, go watch that when they played Alabama. Him and Zion Young were just beating them like a redheaded stepchild. It was funny. I was like, holy crap. I turned that game on and I was like, that number 7 and that number 9 are just making life miserable for Simpson.
Yeah. Jack Kenna saying, JD, is the rain coming down over there, bro?
Yeah. In fact, I got to go drain my pool here in a little bit. Probably in about an hour or so, I got to go drain my pool.
Alex saying Bowers is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you don't agree with that.
Yep.
Or at least as a Raider fan.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people when that hit. I was in a Discord chat, and there was a couple guys just, "What are you doing? That was stupid." Blah blah blah. I go, "You kidding me?"
Bowers is a player.
I go, if there's anybody that is legit dude in this draft, it is him. And then
Yeah.
last year, I called it again.
Yeah.
Tyler
Salute
Warren.
Raiders back.
Tyler Warren was the dude in last year's draft.
Yeah. Salute Raider Zach coming in, saying Raider Nation for
What's
life.
up, Raiders Zach?
And Alex saying I was excited about drafting Mac, but once again the Raiders neglected the Raider position or receiver position.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely need a standout receiver, but we need a lot of things. So our number one pass catcher is Bowers. Even if we did get a top receiver in this draft, Bowers is still the top pass catcher on this team, at least this year. I'm fully willing to punt receiver this year to make sure we get
next year's wide receivers.
Yeah.
You guys talk about next year's quarterback class. Wait till next year.
Yeah. The other positions is where we're going to get a lot of value.
Keep an eye on people like Nick Harbor and guys like that coming out next year that you're just going to go, holy crap. There's going to be 5 wide receivers in the first round next year.
Yeah. And they're almost all of them are that true X receiver that everybody's clamoring for. Which adds to the value.
Too bad Tony out of Miami wasn't eligible to go into the draft next year, because that would just really make it insane in the first round.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But that just adds to the value of just taking Mendoza now is we don't got to worry about getting a quarterback in next year's draft where supposedly it's going to be an absolutely stacked class at quarterback. Well, now we can focus on the other positions. So when it comes to next year's draft, we can go and look what teams absolutely need a quarterback. Okay, what teams are ahead of us? Which one of those teams need a quarterback? Okay, now we can cross those teams off the list. Now we can look at all the other positions. Which of these players is falling to us?
Yeah.
That's where the value comes in.
No. And like we said earlier, we gave 2 pieces of draft capital last year for wide receivers. So, granted, one of them, I still think Jack Besh is a very formidable NFL wide receiver. Even what I saw last year, towards when it wasn't until after Geno got hurt and he got more run. Like the balls were coming at him and he catches the ball. It's just like one of those. He's fundamentally sound. Runs good routes. He has a limited route tree, but what he does very well. Maybe they can expand on it with Kubiak. And I also think too, this is our crap or get off the pot type situation for Tucker this year. And having the type of coaches that we're having come in, coach the offensive side of the ball, can we actually exploit his talent? Because he does have talent. He does have that, I'm not going to say quite Henry Ruggs, but pretty dang close as to his top end speed and how he can get open. And even his crossing routes, it's just, he's got to be more fundamentally sound, snatch that ball, get it tucked away and get upfield. And then complete the catches and quit making every catch that you have a damn review with the instant replay.
Yeah. Mark Bates saying, I still think Warren is the better tight end than Colston. As a true tight end, I 100% agree. As a receiving option, there's an argument for Colston, Loveland. But Warren is one of those guys where, like, he's a great football player and you just want him on the field.
He's just a football dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all football, blocking, catching.
Yeah.
Getting in the open field and taking out a DB on a run play, and then, doing the dirty work down at the goal line to get open, running,
cracking down on a linebacker.
Yeah. And he could throw the ball too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize he could play. If he needed to play quarterback in a pinch, he could play quarterback.
Yeah. Mark Bates also saying my number one want, not guessing what they're going to do, but wants is for the Raiders to draft best D tackle available at 36. Now, my question is, depending on how the first round goes, I'm thinking that both McDonald and Miller are both gone. So Then the next best tackle consensus wise is Lee from Texas Tech. Are you okay with drafting Lee at 36?
No. But I would trade back a few spots, and if he hits at 40, 45, I think
Yeah.
at 36, it sounds like a reach. I think he's still a later second round.
Yeah. Mark said he would take Lee at 36.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he said packaging 67 and a fourth to come back up and get Halsey, the strong safety from LSU. But
Strong safety.
But here's the thing: Halsey's a great ball hawk, where he can end up being that single high safety and free safety if he has to.
Does he have the lateral speed?
I don't know enough. I'm not going to say yes or no, but I believe so. All I know is he definitely has a knack for the ball, and he's one of those players where it's like he is always there.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying his personal preference, and that's 100%.
That's fine.
What we want. We want to hear it.
It kind of opens some of our eyes up as well as to what your guys' logic sometimes will feed off each other as to what we're thinking in a roundabout way.
And then he was saying he thinks Halsey does have good lateral speed. And Alex said Mateer and USC's Maeva are coming out next year as well. Possibly. Mateer is for sure. Maeva still has another year of eligibility. So there is a chance that Maeva plays another year in college just so he can be the number one quarterback the following year.
Yeah.
Though if I was Maeva, chances are he ends up being the consensus third or fourth quarterback. So he ends up going to a good team or a decent team where they're ready to win with him and it can support him better. So it's just how the player himself thinks of it. So he definitely could come out next year, but he does have another year of eligibility.
Right.
But yeah, there's a bunch of quarterbacks coming out next year that don't have eligibility left anymore, unless they're trying to pull some COVID thing.
Yep.
Or is that's done with now, right?
The COVID stuff is, but you still had that postgraduate fifth year,
and they're
still letting people have, if you redshirt but yet you graduate, you still get a bonus year.
Okay.
On the fifth year, I'm not quite sure if that's Chambliss's situation, but I like the fifth year eligibility for if you graduate early. So you graduate within 4 years, you got your degree, but you want one more year of just free football. I like that. It allows people, I know Carson Beck was in college for 6 years. I know Ty Simpson got his degree early, but it's pretty easy to do when you're the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
For 3 years. So, but hey, those of you guys that are on the poll, in the poll right now, we're going to shut the poll down. I'll give you 30 seconds if you haven't picked yet on the poll, it's number one. Should we double down on wide receiver in the draft, offensive line, defensive line, or defensive back? Just put the corresponding number. Do not put a comment. It won't register your vote if you put a comment in. Just put the number. So I'll give you 30 seconds on that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And 6-year eligibility has always kind of been a thing because you had your redshirt year, and then you can play 4 seasons. So that's 5. But you can also have an injury year. So even though you don't play one of those 4 seasons technically because of injury, you were still eligible to play. So you had 6 years available if that happened to you.
And that was before the COVID situation.
Yeah. So I think right now, I think it's like with that Miami linebacker, I think it is. He's going for his 7th year.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's where it's getting kind of crazy.
That's a little too much. That's basically an NFL career, 7 years.
Yeah, the guy's going to be, 27, 28 when he's done with college?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Alec coming in with another banger. He's been on fire today. Zachy Wheatley from Penn State would be a good safety to take 4th round.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And he's more of a true free safety.
Yeah.
But he's very, very disciplined, and he's coming from a defense that had probably the best defensive coordinator in college.
No. Yep. All right. On to the next. Day 2 is where the draft is won. Oh, hold on a second. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and stop the poll. And then let's get into our next topic. Day 2 is where the draft is won. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this is rounds 2 through 4 are usually your roster builders. This is where you're going to get the guys that are going to be guys that are going to have significant roles on the team. By having the volume in those rounds is better than having the volumes in the later rounds. So that's why earlier I said, since we've got so much draft capital at the back end in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, why not just package all that stuff up? Maybe let somebody swap our third with them, or give them a 102 or 117, which is pretty high up in the 4th round, and see if we can come back up closer, maybe into 120, or even get into the 80s or 90s, get a pick in the 90s. So, I mean, if you think about it, if we go 136, 67, 90, that's 4 picks in the top 100. That's great. And I think that really improves your team faster and better than wait until the 5th and 6th rounds and getting some scraps off the plate to make a meal.
Yeah.
But round 1 gets a lot of attention. Day 2 builds teams. So let's be real. I want you to be real with me on this one. Do you care more about round 1 or the rest of the draft?
I care more for round 1 just for everything going on. But as far as building the team, day 2 is definitely more of the filling. And it almost always seems like every year I'm paying more attention to the guys that are going to be going round 2 through 4. And as they're like the guys that I really enjoy watching and studying their film and seeing if I want them on my team or not.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, overall, I would say the rest of the draft I like more than round 1.
No, I'm kind of in the same boat too. It seems like I'm more in tune to rounds 2 and 3, but I do like to watch round 1 and see what kind of craziness happens, because it's more where the drama happens, and not so much with us, but other teams as well. To see like, oh my God, I can't believe they traded up for that, type thing.
Yeah.
But and then somebody pulls a surprise pick, and you're just like, oh, what the hell were they thinking? Are they evaluating players the same as us knucklehead fans that don't know half of what they're supposed to know?
And then that player goes. Then that player goes and becomes an all-pro.
Yeah. Or like last year, Abdul Carter, and it's like, I think at one point the Giants were like, I don't know if we want to keep this guy, and he's our top 5 pick.
Yeah, it almost seemed like they were willing to cut him.
Yeah, it was getting to that point.
Here, you can have him. Just give us a 5th round pick.
Yeah, you can have him.
Like an NFL team sees that and like, it's that bad.
And what's funny is his character score and his evaluation was actually pretty damn good. So it's like, all this is like, okay, sometimes listening to your college coaches or your high school coaches, you get biased opinions. A lot of times you got to take that with a grain of salt, because there's some college coaches that are going to pump their guys up because it makes your program look better.
Yeah. Well, and then also sometimes though too is like the player will go throughout all college without any issues. Like they're always seen as a stand-up player, never hear anything, get drafted really high because nothing comes out, and then all of a sudden they can't seem to stay on the team regularly because they're missing meetings left and right, late to practice and all that. And that's what happened with Carter. As Carter seemed like the can't miss pick in that draft, and seemed like he had the most issues last year.
Well, and then having what happened with him so close to the Henry Ruggs situation, I don't blame the Raiders not. In fact, I I gotta go, you know what? That's probably the smartest decision because nothing can make you look. I mean, we're new to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
You have your star player kill somebody in a traffic collision when they're DUI, and then you turn around year or two later, and you're going to draft a guy that was that was street racing where somebody was killed, and he was charged with the crime for it. And then on top of that, you have other issues with him off the field, and some of it is not so much what he did, but the fact that he didn't take full responsibility. He did. There was almost like it was like, it wasn't my fault. You know, it's like, well, he was the one doing this, and it was his fault that I was going 150 miles an hour. No, it wasn't his fault. You were going 150. It was your fault. It was your fault. You know, by doing that, the challenging in and of itself caused that issue. But since we're still on this topic, round one gets more attention, I think, with a lot of your basic fans, your average fans. But day two really builds teams,
Yeah.
right? And so draft strategy on day two. What is your preferred draft strategy on day two?
I mean, I still try to stick with the BPA, best player available in both those rounds because there's
Mhm.
still good talent in those rounds.
Mhm.
So I still try to stick to BPA, and then my tiebreaker is always position of need. And then also versatility. Like, can the player do more things than outside of the traditional positional tag? So, like for me, how we were talking earlier in the show, safety, I think, is probably more of the position I look at in the rounds 2 and 3,
Mhm.
and if that player is versatile, because a versatile safety can do so many things for your team. They can be
Mhm.
your leader from the back end, in the middle. They can play off ball linebacker depending on the type of player they are. Like your Jeremy Chin, they can go play slot corner if they have to,
Mhm.
depending on the coverage and how things shift pre snap. Uh,
Or if we
and-
want to run cover zero,
yeah,
then they can still back up and cover the middle while our 7-man pressure is getting unleashed.
yeah. So it ultimately in rounds 2 and 3, it's positional versatility and position itself as the tiebreakers, and I'm still trying to stick to that BPA. So,
Yeah.
like offensive line, looking at those tackles who weren't like the standout top 10 pick easily in college, did they play multiple positions? Because
Mhm.
now they're going to be more flexible, they're going to be more knowledgeable. Usually, they have better feet because they're used to going to both sides of the field now,
Mhm.
and have a better head on their shoulders because of it. So they're a little bit quicker because they're not thinking as much.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, safety is the versatility on what they can do there. Cornerback, can they tackle? Like, your number one job is to cover, but you need to be able to tackle. Are you
Yeah.
able to come
No
up and run
business
support?
decisions.
Are you able to come up and run support? Are you able to go break up a screen? Like that kind of thing. You need to be able to go and play tough football as a cornerback in the day two picks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nothing pisses off a head coach more than to see his stud cornerback come up and play two-hand touch with the running back or receiver.
yeah.
Nothing
Uh,
makes him madder than that.
yeah. But no, generally speaking, day two, I'm going BPA. Fourth round and on, that's where I'm looking more at the positions where I need to get fillers.
Mhm.
But the players I'm looking at is not necessarily if they're good all around guys, like not great, but they're good. I'm not
Mhm.
looking at for those guys. I'm looking for guys that have a clear cut, like they excel at this thing. I take that player so I can build around that thing
Yeah.
because they need an absolute tool to be able to succeed in the NFL. And if they have that, they have a chance. The
Oh,
players
what
that are like kind of good all around, they usually tend to just be a step too slow in everything they do
yeah.
and don't hang around.
Yeah. Are the Raiders going to be aggressive or be patient?
Aggressively
Which
patient.
which one wins the draft?
I mean, either one can win the draft, really. Ultimately, the name of the game is to get players to fill your roster, especially starters, guys that are going to play for your team for a long time. And both of those can do that.
And some people don't realize too, being patient, sticking and picking is also an aggressive mindset as well. It takes for some GMs, it takes a lot of discipline for them to do that because they might want to reach for somebody in particular just to be safe to get that guy and it not work out.
Yeah.
And I think that's where your Mike Mayocks and your Reggie McKenzie's failed themselves because and especially it surprised me with Reggie McKenzie more so than anybody because he was pretty big on staying, taking the draft picks at the position in which you earned them is better to fill your roster and build your team up than it is to try and reach for somebody that you might want to get so somebody else doesn't get them because you're paying attention to other people draft philosophies sometimes will put you in a corner that gets you screwed up.
Yeah.
So it's better to stick with your plan, your ideas, your beliefs, with your evaluations. And then if for some reason you want to move up or down, I myself is no more than 5 spaces forward, 5 spaces back, and it still keeps you in that ballpark. Because if you guys that have done mock drafts do the trade up 10 spots or trade back 10 spots, it screws everything up. It really does. Then you're stuck in a predicament where I traded back 10 spots, got extra picks in the third, and got an extra pick in the third round, an extra pick in the fifth, or 2 fifth rounders or 2 fourth rounders. But yet, where you could have stayed, you would have got a much better player, number one. Even though it's just one player, it would have been a better player than had you by you moving back. Last year was a perfect example of that. When they moved back all the way back to 58, I was like, what? Whoa, hold on. You're going way too far because you're just sacrificing that much more talent.
Yeah.
Because it starts to drop off. Especially when you start to get past 50, it drops off pretty quick. It doesn't matter what caliber a draft is in a whole. You get to 50, it drops off.
I mean, the best way of thinking about it, if you are looking to trade back, is are you in a cluster of players you like?
Mm-hmm.
How many are there? And then that dictates how far you're willing to trade back. So if you're in a cluster of 6 players, like you legitimately are really happy to take any one of these 6,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go and trade back 7 or 8 spots, and then all of those 6 players are gone, well, you just screwed yourself. Right?
No.
Ultimately, if you're going to trade back, you got to make sure the players that you have at hand on your board that you want are going, at least one of them is going to be there when you come to pick.
No.
So
what I want the Raiders to do in this draft, what I want Spy Tech to do in this draft specifically, be aggressive, be smart, hit the numbers, and not grade, not sit back and pat yourself on the shoulder on Sunday, coming up Sunday. But let's get these guys in here, get the helmet strapped up, start getting the cracking with them, and see where we are as a team. Because believe it or not, this draft is ultimately going to dictate how we're going to be the next 5 years. Because you got Bowers is going to be ticking out on his rookie contract. All right, you got DJ Glaze ticking out on his contract, JPJ ticking out on his rookie contract. They're going into year 3 of their rookie deals. So you got to maximize that, because I know for sure Brock Bowers is going to command a big paycheck.
Yeah.
Especially if he does anything remotely close to his rookie year. And better than and last year is, even with his injuries, he still produced at a high level.
Yeah, and he got more touchdowns.
Yeah, he had more touchdowns last year than he did his rookie year, and touchdowns count. I mean, you can catch 1,500 yards worth of passes, but if you only got one touchdown, you didn't really help the team out that much. You might have helped him get him down the field, but did you help him get in the end zone? And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Do we want to clean up the chat real quick?
Yeah, I don't know how much far behind we are. We got 12 or 13 in here still hanging out with us. Salute you guys, Alec M, Mark Bates, Alex. If you guys are still there, Raider Ryan, salute to you, my friend. Those of you guys that are still in the chat, if you're sitting back idle, throw a question in there if you want. But let's get to Alec M here. Some very good wide receivers, defensive line, quarterbacks will be there in the second round. Exactly. I don't think we really have to pressure ourselves to move up. I really don't. Unless for some reason that guy that is a top 10 talent gets to 25 and you go, wow, if we're going to do it, we might as well do it. And that's where the aggressiveness, strategic, smart, and being aggressive, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Who wins the chaos? Everybody's watching the pick. Smart teams are watching the chaos. And if the Raiders play this right, they won't just draft well. They'll gain an edge. And that's where the aggressiveness, patience, aggressiveness, and being smart all lumped into one is very important when it comes to this draft because, like I said just a few minutes ago, this year's draft is going to dictate how our future is going to be for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Full stop. As much as we want to look at 2020, everybody's looking at 2027. We still got 2026 to put a team together and play.
Yeah.
So
got to build the team up right so that way 2027 can add to it.
Man. But what I don't want is I don't want them to get caught up in the chaos. So if teams are moving up, moving back, moving up, moving back all around them, don't panic. It's okay. Let them do the stupidity. Because ultimately, if there's a lot of trade backs and trade ups in the first round, there's going to be some top talent fall to us. Guys that maybe if you might have ninth on your board all of a sudden slides to you at 36, which is so goofy about this draft. There's nothing concrete in this draft, including Fernando Mendoza is not concrete. It just so happens where we're at, where we're picking. He checks all the boxes of a franchise quarterback, in which we need, and he's 3 steps better than Derek Carr. And those that hate Derek Carr are the same ones that hate Fernando Mendoza. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. And Derek Carr was solid for us. We let Derek Carr down. He didn't let us down.
Yeah.
Got any final thoughts?
Final thoughts for the draft. Hopefully it shows some excitement from other teams and we sit and pick and play it smart like you've been preaching.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we come out of the draft feeling good about our team.
Nope.
And ultimately, I think we're going to be able to talk ourselves into liking whatever draft it is and try to buy into Spytek's plan. And then once the season comes around, we'll finally see a little bit of what it's supposed to look like. And then hopefully by the end of the season, we see a true picture of what this team's starting to become.
Yep. And for those Raider fans out there, obviously there's 2 versions. There's a pro and there's a con. Pro Mendoza, con Mendoza. Ultimately, those that are con Mendoza, they absolutely deserve their opinion. And you got to respect that as Raider Nation. Respect it. The same with, I expect the same out of my fellow Raider fans of those that are pro Mendoza. Respect their decision and respect their opinion because it is just that. Ultimately, we're fans. We are the nation. And we just expect our front office, our coaches, and our players to serve us right. And before I close out tonight's show, if we can give a shout out to a legend that we lost yesterday in Mr. Rod Martin. Ultimately, he was a Raider through and through. He epitomized what once a Raider, always a Raider meant. If anything, he was the signature of that. I don't think he got the accolades that he deserves. He was greater than just that of an average player. He was elite during his time. Did things in the Super Bowl that nobody else will ever do again. Should have been the MVP. I get it. Quarterback gets more love than a linebacker. But it wasn't just those 3 interceptions as well. His run support in that game was phenomenal. And we lost a really good legend. We're losing our legends. And we need to make more. And so if there's anybody out there that can give a shout out to the team that we're putting together right now, is we need legends, because there are guys like my partner here that have not seen that. They need to see it. They need to see some legends. And we just hope and pray, and shout out to the family and those that of Rod Martin, the friends of Rod Martin as well, that were close to him. But it's another one of those spots in our heart that is left empty. But as he goes up and he's no longer in pain, I know he suffered the last few years, is no longer in pain. And rest in comfort, rest in peace, my friend. And thank you for everything you've done for Raider Nation. And to those legends that are still with us, we still love you just the same as if it was yesterday. And for those that are on our team today, we love you as well. And we just want one thing. We just want to win. And just win, baby, is just not a mantra. It's just not a company slogan. It means something. It means something to us. And for those of us that wear silver and black with pride, that's where we want to be. So for myself, Raiders First Downs JD, Dunkin' Donuts Dunkin'. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Once again, once this closes out, throw comments in there. Give us a comment. Give us some feedback on our show, what we could do better, what we did wrong. And we'll respond to those. Hit those likes, those subscribes, and share the show with your friends. I know you guys got friends. I know Jack Ken has got a lot of friends. Ardell come in a little bit late. Thanks for popping in. I know it's a little bit late. We're winding down the show, but yes, absolutely leadership for 53. I'm hoping he will be legend. I have a little bit of PTSD myself with it as well. There's a lot of, it's like, ooh, there's been a take it, but you guys need to understand this. There's no more pressure on that with this pick than what that kid has on his shoulders. And he has taken it full force, full blunt, and he is ready to meet the challenge. And I fully believe that. I don't think he's going to take anything for granted, what's going on. He's going to appreciate what he's got, and he's going to try and do us right by the nation. So once again, on this Tuesday night, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming in. Duncan, it's been a great show, my friend. We'll be back next Tuesday with a little draft wrap-up, hopefully some good things. We might have something on the weekend that we might do a pop-up show. We have a couple buddies of ours that couldn't join us tonight that we wanted to come on from our Discord channel. Maybe we'll throw a pop-up show up Saturday or Sunday, depending on if we can get everybody together and do a 4-man roundtable of what we just went through over the week with our draft this week. But until then, guys, we appreciate every one of you guys that have come in. And once again, go Raiders.
Cold open, counted out. Yeah, we heard the talk. Cold nights and long losses, still we walk. Scoreboard hurt, but the heart stayed real. Still wear the black, still flash the shield. From Oakland roots to Vegas dust, pain in the season, but we still trust. They say it's over, I say move on, but